I want to actually call on Julie Scales to introduce our speaker today. So, Julie.
Yeah, I'm very pleased to introduce to you Chuck Torisky, who's the president of the St. Vincent de Paul Society here in Pinellas County. And he's based at St. Michael's Church there on 580. But he's going to tell about the various services that the organization provides to people who are in need.
Thank you very much. Okay. Hi, everybody. I wanted to thank Julie for inviting me to talk. I had two concerns. One would be that I couldn't make this. Oh, a little. Okay, is that better? Okay, yeah. Good. So, okay, we're getting started. So I'm Chuck Torisky. I'm the president of the St. Society of St. Vincent de Paul at St. Michael's. I'm sure most of you have heard of our group name, but you may not know exactly what the things that we do. So the Society of St. Vincent de Paul was founded in 1833 by Blessed Frederic Ozanam, and we are presently serving the poor in 153 different countries. We have 850,000 members. Almost all the work is done at the kind of operation that we have. We have a food pantry at St. Michael the Archangels, and that's where our conference is located. I should say there are 7 other conferences in Northern Pinellas. We all help people, neighbors that need help, and sometimes help each other when it's a kind of a heavy lift. So I should also say that while we are a Catholic organization and we're sponsored by Catholic churches, we do not discriminate against anybody. Any neighbor that needs help, we will help them. The other thing is that when we do help them, we go to serve people without jobs, people without money, people who are hungry or homeless, the working poor, and sometimes just people that have a little more month at the end of the money. So when they do call us for help, we don't give them a number. We don't send them a form. We don't ask them to stand in line. Generally, we go right to them. We meet them in their homes. We talk with them. We listen to what's going on. We have discussions about how they got into the situation. A lot of times, they're pretty torn up. They didn't ever expect to be this way, and they're not sure what to do next. So a big part of what we do is not just showing up with a check. We show up and we coach them, I guess would be a good way of saying it. We talk to them about the situation they're in, and then I was telling Julie, we pray before we go in, we pray after we come out, and often we pray with them, because sometimes we run into a situation that is so unusual and so difficult that we are clear when we're walking out the door after the meeting that we don't know exactly what we're going to do. Every family that's in trouble, or every senior citizen that's in trouble, is an individual or in a family group, and you can't paint them all with the same brush. So sometimes after thinking about it, praying about it, in a day or two, solution sort of evolves, and we go in that direction. I'm actually off my script a little bit here, but let me come back to that. The other thing, of course, is a point I want to make is that a lot of times you'll turn on the television set and you will see appeals for hungry, sick, poor people in other countries. And those people are in trouble and they need help. But the reality is that sick people, poor people, injured people, people at risk of becoming homeless are literally all around us. You see them at the grocery store. You see them waiting at the bus stop. You might see them in your church. Literally, I don't know, 35 or 40% of the people in this area and most of the United States are 1 or 2 paychecks away from being on the street. They're the working poor. And our primary mission is to keep them in their house or their apartment. Aside from being, the better solution, it's also the cheaper solution. If they lose their house or they lose their apartment, to get another place, they have to put down the first month, the last month, the security deposit. It becomes a several $1,000s solution. Whereas if we can help them out a little now and coach them up a little bit, and then we maintain the relationship. We frequently will call people back a month or 2 or 6 months later. And hey, how's it going? How you doing? Quite often they come back to us and say, we really want to help out somebody else, which touches my heart. They're sick or they're struggling or they're one of the nice guys we have can't drive. He doesn't have a car. He can't afford it. He's a Marine veteran. And several months ago, we helped him out. When he comes to the food bank, we don't put the food in a big bag. We put it in a couple of little bags. We put on the handlebars of his bike. Sorry, the handlebars of his bicycle. And he's going to help us out this Thanksgiving when we do our big distribution. We usually give out 75 or so Thanksgiving bags of food. And last year was so successful, we also did it again for Christmas. And then somebody anonymously donated an awful lot of toys. And we were able to ask the people who had said they were going to come and get the food, do you have any children in the house and how old are they? So that was a very nice bonus that we could get them the toys as well as what they needed, which was an awful lot of food. Let's see. Over here. So anyhow, we depend on the generosity of our donors. Our gift is the gift of our time and attention. Many of the people that volunteer with us are former school teachers, nurses, retired police, social workers, financial service folks. And we have some expertise. And did I mention when we go to visit, we go two at a time. We always take 2 people. There's a lot of good reasons. One of them is usually one of us will ask the questions. The other one will observe. Mm-hmm. And when we talk after the meeting at the home visit, a lot of times the observer person has heard and seen things that were pertinent that the other person didn't pick up on. So that's always good. Okay. We're one of 8. I mentioned that already, but here's the thing. Last year, we were able to assist our neighbors financially more than 1,075 times. We prevented 28 evictions, and a lot of these become nobody's fault. Somebody lost a job, somebody got sick, expensive car repair. Some people have to choose between fixing the car and keeping the job or paying the rent. So, they're up, creek without a paddle. So, okay. So we also, as you probably noticed, we run a thrift store in this area. It's over there on alternate 19 near Coachman. It's been open a couple of years. Our manager is doing a wonderful job. She is making a profit from the donations that people give to the store. She's selling the furniture at a very big discount. And the money that they're making is being given back to the individual conferences in the area to help us to buy food and pay rent and pay utilities and all that. Oh, yeah, I have some numbers. That's how I wanted to get these two. Pardon me. So last year, we used $95,000. 28,000 of it went to rent and condo fees. 20,000 of it went to utilities. We all know utilities are going up as well as rent. 26,000 was food, just food to people that needed it. We did $5,000 worth of microloans. Microloans is something that my predecessor introduced. We take our money, we loan it to somebody that's in a very tight spot after we evaluate them and make sure they have the capacity to pay it back. So we might loan them $2,000. If they pay it back in less than a year, they pay no interest at all. If it takes a little longer than a year, it's 3%. But what this does is let us use the money that people give to us to rescue somebody. More accurately, they rescue themselves. They then get to pay back the loan, and we get to take the money and go around and use it with somebody else. But we have to vet them pretty closely. We have to see that they have the capacity to, and you'd be amazed how often really good people get into a jam. It's life. It's what happens. So what else have we got here? The microloans, mortgages we paid. We bought somebody some appliances, ovens and such. And we paid some auto insurance. I was surprised about this, but you can't really drive your car if you don't have insurance. So if you got to fix the car and you got to pay the insurance, you have to fix the car, but now you don't have the $500 for your car insurance. So this is, I mean, every week we meet new and different people in pretty much the same problem, too much month at the end of the money. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to let you know, there's the other churches in the area that sponsor conferences are All Saints, Espiritu Sancto, Light of Christ, Our Lady of Lourdes, which is the closest geographically to where you are here, St. Catherine of Siena, St. Cecilia, and our St. Michael. St. Ignatius has only been around for a couple of months. They're up at Tarpon Springs. Before that, if somebody called from Tarpon Springs and talked to us, even though they're quite a ways away from us and nowhere near our church or our community, we'd go up and have a visit and we'd talk to them just as we would anybody else and come up with a solution for them. Am I leaving anything off? Okay. So a couple of things. On any given night in the Tampa St. Pete area, there's close to 140 people sleeping in their cars. A lot of them are women with children. A surprising number of them are seniors. There are seniors that get their check delivered to the soup kitchen. They cash their check, they go and pay, find the cheapest hotel they can. They pay until the money's gone, and then they spend the last several days of the month sleeping somewhere. And of course, we've got veterans who run into problems and have a difficult time. So some bright side, does everybody know where the soup kitchen is on Park Street in Clearwater? Okay. A lot of our people that volunteer with us also, St. Vincent de Paul supports the soup kitchen. Also go down there one morning a week to serve breakfast or lunch or whatever. The soup kitchen served more than 400 different people a month. And the good news here is that we're presently working with the city of Clearwater and some other organizations to create 100 apartments within walking distance of the soup kitchen. It's going to be a while coming because there's nothing happens on time or under budget, but we're going to put this together. The bad news is we could have used that yesterday. There's so many people. I talked to Chrissy, who runs the kitchen there, and I refer to her as, they're the point of the spear. They're dealing with people every day who are already homeless. Our job as your local conference is to help as many people stay in their homes and have the utilities on and have food. If we can keep them in their homes, everybody wins. So that's what we try to do on a daily basis. Let me see if I've left anything off. I didn't. Okay, I think we covered just about everything. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
You also counsel them on or help them find another, perhaps another that would have cheaper insurance.
Sure. Yeah. We sort of look under the hood and kick the tires on everything. And it's not always that complicated. I was telling Julie over lunch, we went to visit somebody in the winter, and they had a very high electric bill. And as we're sitting there in their living room, I can feel the draft through their windows into the room. And we're talking, and it's like, heating bill's awfully high. Well, So after we've done the whole talk, I said, well, by the way, can you give us the phone number for your landlord? So we talked to the landlord, and this is the cheapest fix ever. We went to Ace Hardware with his permission and bought this rope of clay. It's on a wheel. It looks like Play-Doh. And we showed them how to, and helped them shove it into the cracks around the windows. But it would not have occurred to them. It wasn't their place, and I'm not sure that their land would have let them do it. But we said, listen, this is happening. We had another instance where we went to see somebody, and this is the mirror reverse image. Their air conditioner is on 11. I mean, it is cranked way the heck up. The wall is shuddering because it is not cooling anything. And we talked to them, and they said, we need the air conditioner. Yeah, but it doesn't work. So we went on, and I think we spent $1,200 in appliances last year. $400 it was to buy them a new air conditioner. Guess what? Utility bills went down. Some of the people have been poor so long that the helplessness is learned. They don't think about solutions. So yeah, if we're talking to them about, hey, maybe you should shop at the insurance a little bit. We also, in many cases, put them in touch with other parts of the social, what they call that, safety net. There's a light heat program with Duke Energy. There's things available through the Pinellas County Urban Fund, Urban Renewal. Anyhow, whenever possible, we connect them with somebody. Sometimes we have one person that works with veterans. She's extremely good. She herself is a veteran. And a lot of times we'll find veterans have greatly underestimated what they're entitled to. And we say to them, well, I don't want to bother. No. It's there for you. It's there for you and people like you. Go see them. Have a conversation. And we usually get a call a little later saying, hey, guess what? They're going to do this. They're going to help me that way. So a lot of it is, well, I'll tell you something. You meant to show this earlier. This is what we call a dignity bag. We carry these in our cars. And if you can't see, there's tuna in here. There's candy bars. There's a toothbrush. There is other food that you don't need a can opener for. We also have a version that has women's products in as well. So I was never real comfortable with seeing somebody at the Walmart asking for money because I'm not sure what that person might do with the money. On the other hand, I will give them a cold bottle of water out of the cooler in my car, and I'll hand them one of these. And we usually have our address in there. Say, listen, if you need more, this is where we are. So it's important to help them, but not to shore up their dignity and empower them to do things for themselves. So that's what we try to do. We try to bring some relationship, some information that they can use, and we try to get them to help themselves as much as possible. And like I said, often the result is we get a phone call. I'd like to help out too. So it's all good. Other questions? Yes, sir.
At the place on Park Avenue there and Park Street.
Mhm.
And I've never served less than 85 people and often over 100.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing great work.
Thank you.
You had some apartments that were gonna rehab over there in the motel section.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you guys ever able to do that?
I'm not right in on that. We have a meeting once a month down there, and everybody tells everybody else what they're doing. So I may hear about it on the second Wednesday of next month.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they were able to do that. That would give some nice housing, at least temporarily.
Yeah. So you reminded me of something. What was that just now? Yeah. So on Park Street, yeah, they're something useful to help all of us, to help them. If you run across somebody who is homeless, one of the first things that we do if we talk to somebody is advise them to go to Park Street. Because if they go there and we get them into the system, if they need medicine, we can get it for them. If they need a doctor, we can get one for them. If they'd like to take a shower, if they'd like to have a place to get their mail, obviously they get to eat there. But what I can do locally, for a person without a can opener at home is this. What they can do down there is a great deal more. What a lot of people don't know is that we sent 113 people last year back to where they came from. They came from Kentucky or Ohio or Pennsylvania or New York. First, we talked with them and we established they had no chance of making it down here. They have no family, they have no friends, they're incapable of keeping a job, or they're disabled or whatever. So then we talk to them, we get the phone number of somebody, my brother lives up there, my aunt lives up there, or whatever. And then we call and talk to the aunt or the brother and say, yeah, we're down here with Scott, we're talking to him. And it's not good down here. And we negotiate with them to go back where their family is. A lot of people come down here thinking it's going to be a lark. They're homeless. They're going to sleep on the beach. They're going to live big, I guess. I don't know. They had illusions. So the other part of the solution is to send them where they have family. Because what do they say? Family is the people that have to like you, whether they want to or not. So any questions more? Yes, sir.
One
Oh.
congregation based, or is it a region of congregations that support?
Thank you for asking that. Okay, so we're given space by St. Michael the Archangel, and that's where our pantry is. They sponsor us, but while we talk with the priest, we're independent. We have our own management, our own budget, and we operate the food pantry. And then anybody, I didn't say this before, anyone comes in and needs food, I don't care where they're from, they'll get food. If they need more than food, we have actually a good way of describing it. If you're looking at the face of a clock, we would be like the middle of the, and not this kind of clock, the kind with the 12 numbers on it. We would be in the middle, and up in Tarpon Springs is St. Ignatius. Our Lady of Lourdes is probably about 10 or 11 o'clock over here. That's the closest one to this building. And they're sort of all around Northern Pinellas. And so if somebody calls in and says, hey, I really need some help, first thing we'll say is, let me get your name and everything. And by the way, where do you live? Once they tell us where they live, we say, oh, okay, we're going to call you back in a few minutes. We're going to come and see you sometime in the next 2 days. You try to make it 2 days. And we want to talk to you about your problems. Can you please have your utility bill handy, or your information about your rent? If they're not ours, we'll say, listen, you want to talk to someone at Spiritu Sanctu. Here's the phone number. Here's the hours that they answer. And please tell them that we sent you to them, and they'll know what's going on. So we work areas independently. Sometime this summer, there was a fire at one of the families that belongs to our church, and they lost their house. Nobody died, but they lost the house. We and other parishes chipped in, other conferences chipped in to give them some money. And I only found out in August that they're living in a place that is awful. They're living in a place where the floor, it's a mobile home of sorts, but the floor is falling through. And the air conditioner, only one air conditioner is working. And we got some people together in August, and they went out there, and in the heat of the day, for a couple of hours at a time, most of our guys are pretty old, they repaired things. They got the air conditioner, second air conditioner working. They did some other things. Towards the end of all of this, the water heater broke. So when I came back to town, aware the folks who chipped in for the water heater. So sometimes when it's a heavy lift, when there's a really unique situation where there is a lot to be done, we call it twinning or pairing. We'll work together on something. Where they moved from to where they are is actually in Spiritu Sanctu. It's not our area, but these are our people. So that's how we work together. Anybody else?
Big problems. So many, I do. I see so many older adults being chased out of their condos or apartments because of rent so high. I see a lot coming our way. And
I won't disagree with you.
so it's something we have to start thinking about working on a plan. And another thing I was gonna ask you, do you get grants from the government?
Thank you, that's perfect. We do get grants, different chapters, or conferences will get grants. So for instance, if somebody who's 55 or older needs $1,000 for something, I think the last grant for 55 plus was 15,000. So we would chip in $1,000. We would send our paperwork to the conference that has the grant. They would reimburse us $500 until the money's gone. And of course, with grants, you've got to use it all or lose it. So when the word goes out that one of us has a grant, we share it. One thing that occurs is not that there's enough for veterans or not that there's enough for seniors. But there's a gap. If you're a 30-something woman with a couple of kids, there's no special fund or grant for that. So again, my opinion is the children and the seniors are the most vulnerable people in our community. They, women and children first, or, seniors as well. So one of the things we're looking at is how we could better do a more substantial job for them. We do have resources though, and there's a special program for 55 and older with utilities over and above the LIHEAP. LIHEAP is based on income. So you have to be a low income heating assistance. So, and new things come up all the time. We try to keep up with it. I have a little orange, you know what, I left it over in my chair. There is a tiny yellow book that they gave us. It's like a little, I'll show it to you if you want. And it lists everything in Pinellas County for any possible person you've ever heard of. So a lot of times we'll walk out of the meeting or out of our home visit, as we call it, and we'll start flipping through the pages and making a few phone calls and seeing what's what. We learn a lot by doing it that way too. I probably learned something every week that I didn't know before. So more questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Charles, again, thank you so much. And thank you for what you and all the other folks with St. Vincent de Paul, with St. Michael, Our Lady of Lourdes, other places as well. Important work in our community. So thank you for that.